Crypto.XL. All right, I'm going live. And it's like middle of the day Friday, so nobody's online to watch the live. But I'm gonna, of course, put this on my channel so it could be viewed later. I just wanted to come back and give you guys an update, right? Because there's a lot going on, and you're wondering where are we in the cycle, because last time I said that we were going to have a bullish July. I did mention that we're going to get a pullback first, and then we'll get a bounce back up to the resistance, which would be around 70K, 69K, around there. That it's possible that would be the case. That all being said, we're now close to the end of July, so I would not be opening any longs or getting into positions at this particular point, because I do believe that the Q4 of this year is going to be, heading into Q4 is going to be bearish, and you're going to need some energy for that, right? So if we're heading into a bearish Q4, it doesn't make sense to be accumulating unless you have you're really long term and you could withstand a possible 40%, 50% dump on your altcoins. Now, again, this is what I think is probable to happen. As a trader / investor, we work with probabilities, not certainties. No one knows the future for certain, and that's why this is not financial advice. This is just someone's opinion on the market. Congratulations to you that you were able to withstand the storm, and that you're still here, and you still have a head on your shoulders. Your head and shoulders above the rest. You're ahead of the class. Well, basically, what the market's doing right now is that it's making a time-based capitulation, meaning that people are just distraught and they're tired. They've been losing money for a very, very long time. Altcoins in particular, for almost 2 years, just losing money. And the last thing someone's going to want to hear is that, hey, these altcoins are at a pretty good price. Nobody really wants to hear that, right? Now, I believe that should Bitcoin start to head down towards 54K, I believe that's where one of the Fibonacci retracement lines are. I don't remember which one, but one of them is down there. Maybe it's the 786, or maybe it's the 618, one of them. 54K is a number that has been ringing, and it's on a lot of Fibonacci retracements. Also, it's close to the 2021 all-time highs, around 69K-ish. Also, we've touched 59K before, 58K before. So I think the next level should be around 54K as we head into Q4 of this year. And I have to tell you that everything that's been happening in the market has been moving like clockwork. I haven't seen anything that was strange or out of the ordinary. The only thing I could say is the meme coin pumps during the bull market of 2025, when the Trump coin came out and everyone put their capital in Trump coin, and then the Trump organization and his team took the money and bought Ethereum and Solana and those coins, and then the Trump coin dumped, and then after that, heading into the bear market, the good coins dumped, the established coins dumped. I thought that was quite interesting. So what does this mean for the future? Well, for the future, we do know that the Clarity Act is on the table. We do know that the political environment and the enforcement environment, the law environment for crypto is actually becoming more favorable. That all being said, I follow the charts. I follow the macro environment and all those other things also, but the charts are my priority. I have seen that over the life of Bitcoin, around 14, 15 years, that we've been seeing a decline in interest in Bitcoin and a decline in crypto. We've also seen that the bull market for altcoins has not been as prominent, as prosperous, and as boisterous as in the past, right? We're seeing a decline in returns from altcoins. That all being said, in an environment where I can make a 10x in 1 year, there's very few environments where I could do that. And this is possible if one buys the correct altcoins in a bear market right before the bull market in the 4-year crypto cycle. So, should you have the patience to stay and weather the storm, it's really about patience, right? Yes, you have to pick the right coins, yes. But it's really about patience. Are you going to be able to watch your portfolio go sideways for a while and wait a year, 2 years before you can reap the rewards? It's really about patience and not FOMO in. When we're in a bull market and Bitcoin's back up above 85K, not FOMO in at that point when Solana hits $200 to start buying Solana at $200, $250, right? Because human psychology has not really changed over the past 500 years. The stock market's been around for maybe 200 years or whatever, but human psychology has not really changed. We still respond to the same things. When we see a coin pumping, we say, what if we would have gotten in on the ground floor, right? As human nature to buy things at the top. That's just what human beings do. So in order to curb the enthusiasm and in order to not get wrecked in this current bull market, should we have a dismal fourth quarter and Bitcoin come down to 54K, perhaps it would be a good idea to start accumulating altcoins around that time. I foresee, if this happens, that yes, we could get another 40% retracement in your favorite altcoins. And you will be taking the risk that you're buying a sinking ship, that you're buying a falling knife, that you buy a 40% from where we are already, right? Because these coins are down 90%, another 40% down. So you buy a coin that is already 95% down, and you watch your portfolio continue to lose value going into 2027. So the price of admission is being uncomfortable, watching your portfolio lose value as we head into the new year. And that is not going to be a good feeling. You're going to start to question yourself. You're going to say, man, instead of putting this $1,000 into Solana, Aster, BNB, whatever you choose to put it into, I could have taken this money and I could have gone on vacation. I could have gotten a massage. I could have fixed a car. I could have done X, Y, and Z with this. I could have eaten. I wanted a meal. And you're going to question yourself. So before you decide to invest anything at all into any crypto, ask yourself, if this $1,000 or whatever money that I put into this crypto, if I look back and this thing turns to $700, do I have the stomach? You have to ask yourself if you have the stomach. Okay. Now, you're taking the risk that you lose your investment, you lose your $1,000, but the reward could be your $1,000 turning into $10,000, right? So this is the way I look at the situation. When I put money into crypto, I say to myself, hey, there's a chance that this thing can go to zero, which you have seen many coins go to zero. I'm saying to myself that if it goes to zero, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to blame the influencer. I'm not going to bug out. I'm not going to call it a scam. It probably is a scam. I'm not going to bug out. I'm not going to freak out. I took a chance and it didn't work out, right? But if it goes to $10,000, I'm going to take profit. I'm going to be taking some profit on that, right? So that's how you have to look at the situation. So basically what I'm saying is that the risk that you have is you can lose all your money, but the reward that you have it could be a substantial reward at the next Altseason, when Altseason comes back. If you pick the right coins, these things can go really, really high, really, really fast when we transition from bear to bull. So if Bitcoin goes down, hypothetically speaking, I don't know the future. If Bitcoin goes down to 54K, and then you buy, and because you want to move to Dubai, and you buy, and then Bitcoin goes back up to 100K in 2027, that's where, you know, that's where the possibility of a 10x can come from, you know. But again, don't put money in that you're afraid to lose. I've said this 1 million times. And make sure you take profit. Take something, man. You know, maybe you took at a 3x, 4x, and your thing went to 10. You still have a little bit in that could go to 10x. That's fine. But at least you won't have the FOMO, because most people will have the FOMO in 2027. At some point in 2027, there is going to be FOMO. And people are going to be buying $250 Solana, right? Anyway, I will keep you informed what's going on in the market. Yeah, let me talk about Ethereum dominance. Ethereum dominance is doing quite well. Ethereum, last time I checked, now it's like 1850 or whatever. It was going up to nearly $2,000. Ethereum dominance was near the peak of where it should be at this point of the cycle. So I'm anticipating a retracement in Ethereum. I'm expecting Ethereum to come back down to probably 1,500 just to start, before we continue to decline into Q4, which means the altcoins are going to get completely destroyed, right? So whatever sideways the altcoin does temporarily, small pumps temporarily, the bigger move I feel is a decline heading into Q4 of 2026. And my thesis has not changed. We're on board. We've been shorting at the correct times, and we're going to use that capital to reinvest closer to the bottom. Shout out to you. I'll be keeping you informed where we are with Ethereum dominance, where we are with Bitcoin dominance, where we are in the cycle, the macroeconomical outlook. When do I think is the right time to go ham with these cryptos? Remember, nothing's financial advice. I'll see you at the top. This is Crypto.XL, and I'm out.